Why, hello there. Um, as Eka asked a wee while ago what was happening with This Week in Astro, and well, I must confess I was out for it for a wee while. I originally thought it was a wee thumb extraction when I went in, and it turns out I got the whole hand removed. Um, as I wasn't my full, as I was not really my full self, and I wasn't really to be able to get on to the full fuzzy effort that goes into making these shows on a weekly basis. Um, I'm now happy to say that, yeah, we're back. So we are back with our usual schedule of This Week in Astro, folks, and welcome, astronauts from all manners of different places. This Week in Astro is nothing more than a recap of, the past week events in and around the Astro project, where I try my best to keep you all abreast of what was going on over the past 7 days. Um, it is the week ending the 11th of September, and this week we've had a few interesting stories that's came through. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and start sharing them with you. As always, for those who don't know about Astro, the obligatory plug with the Astro repo to get to keep you up to date with all the information, just head over to the repo, and that will be found on GitHub with Astro. And if you want to join our growing members of astronauts who are coming together and help sharing their experience, we've got over 8,500 people now joining our Discord server. And not saying it's the best community out there, but folk are pretty, said it's pretty up there. So just going by what others have told me. And this is where we astronauts spend most of our time. So don't be a stranger. Do pop on over. Your invite is on the bottom of the screen there. So if you're not already invited yourself over to the Astro Discord server, please by all means do, and we will look forward to welcoming you. Now, let's get straight into it. This week we've had some exciting community news to share with you. We've had the Astro Core team work on Bug Week this week. Last week was DX Week, and we've had the community coming in and sharing some really cool projects as well. But firstly, let me get the really exciting news to share with you all. Okay. Chris had nominated Kevin to the position of maintainership in the Astro project, and is probably one of the easiest confirmation processes that we've had when it came to the nomination process. Now, we are picky with our maintainers. These are individuals that in the community who have come to demonstrate through time that they really do care and share in the overall success for the project and its community. Now, Kevin is still young and he's really given Astro his all, in his time with us. With his really fun, joyful personality, it's really been a pleasure having Kevin amongst us, helping out in the small, cool ways. Well, not small, significantly cool ways that he's done. For instance, there's the Astro AWS deployment guide on the docs. That was all him, and it was fantastic. It's fun to read. His contributions are always helpful, and in and around the community he's always there. Really instrumental in help leading the effort into translating our docs into Spanish. So I must say, welcome and congratulations, Kevin. Now, this is just a snippet of some of the outpouring that was heading through Kevin's way this week. It was lovely. Now, our caring and wonderful editor-in-chief has nothing but love for Kevin. He's helped support the wonderful docs team, especially the small team of docs maintainers. Now he's joining their ranks directly alongside Hippo and Jan, working closely with Sarah and Chris. They really have been doing a fantastic job over the docs project. And in my own honest opinion of the wee lad, Kevin is kindness personified, a wonderful contributor and a caring member to our community. I'm getting out the business of unnecessary superlatives describing amazing people, because I'm simply running out of them. Kevin is just one of those amazing people. This kid's definitely going to go far. Now, this is just an amazing wee summary, right, of what Chris had made over the course of a few weekends. This is his own Astro.Badges project. And here it shows Kevin's contributions made to GitHub, and it doesn't include the vast contributions that he's made to our fellow astronauts in the Discord community. But do by all means check out the link on the screen, astro.badge.es, right? And it spells .badges, right? It is a truly amazing. You get your own little contributor snapshot that you see here, along with your own little built with Astro badge. Chris has really gone to town on this, guys, so do check out this amazing gift that he's given to us. Now, there is a wee stinger that I made for you, Kevin. I hope you do enjoy this, mate. You honestly have no idea how difficult or how little vintage Aquaman gifts there are. And if you're wondering why Aquaman, well, it's our Kevin's favourite superhero. And what a wee legend the boy is, right? So yes, welcome to the Big Blue House, Kevin. I hope you enjoy your stay here, and we look forward to seeing the effort that you already put in and where that can go for your future, mate. Now remember though, with great responsibility and all that jazz, you know, it's and the most important thing is to note that the role of the maintainers is critical to Astro. Without our maintainers, we really have a tough time of things. Now you don't need to write code to directly contribute to the code base to be a maintainer. Maintainers have a greater role within the community, and they really go ahead above and beyond to support others. And yeah, being a maintainer is pretty cool to just say that, you know, as part of an open source project as well, that you help maintain it. You could even take that to the bank if you wanted to. Now we're moving on from the celebrations that was, you know, Kevin and joining the maintainership, the Big Blue House as it's also known, because the core's a yellow submarine. We've got the Big Blue House for the maintainership, and we've got the user land for the contributors, the vast majority of contributors. Now it's not easy. Well, to be a contributor in the Astro project is very easy. We have a very low bar, but that is simply and only because we set our barrier to entry a lot lower for most people when it comes to open source. It is absolutely anything, any form of contribution that you make to the project, whether it is talking about it to your pals, that's a contribution in a sense, you know, to actually contributing to the actual code base. The spectrum is huge, and by setting that bar quite low, we able to encompass that entire spectrum and recognize individuals for the small part that they play. And so yeah, being a contributor is relatively easy, but being a maintainer does take a wee bit of effort, and we appreciate everyone who is a maintainer and those who are striving to be a maintainer with the Astro project. Yeah, do reach out if you want to find out more information. I'm more than happy to speak about it in more detail if you wish to. Now, on to the community call. Nate was basically back leading the hot seat this week and leading the community calls, which is always fun, right? He really does make them enjoyable. With updates from the docs team, the support squad, the dev team, you really get to hear what's happening for the week ahead with Astro. And during these regular community calls, we do discuss a number of details that are vital to the overall discussion of Astro, and we even get around to showcasing some new features that are up and coming to the community as well. So, you know, those who are in the community calls on Tuesdays when they do happen, do get to see a lot more of the conversation going forward, and, you know, get to see a lot of the stuff that is happening. Now, the theme of these conversations moving forward, off the back of a pretty successful launch of Astro V1, is all about the future. And this is one that we really want you to take part in. It is one that we strongly encourage, and we really want to hear we really want to hear from you guys, right? So with V1, we're now turning, like I said, the journey, the focus is what comes after. This is what the journey for Astro is. And we've got a thread step that started already within the RFC discussions pages, where you can be free to help us design and come up with upcoming features on the post V1 roadmap. Things like what we should be working on next, which features you like to see improved, things, you know, missing things or features that could be better defined. things that you've seen in other places that you like to see part of Astro and part of the ecosystem that you really like to see incorporated. Now, going over, the 60 or so, there's countless messages and discourse that's happening on this particular thread, right? It is really positive, it's really vibrant, and it's a sign of a healthy, prosperous time ahead for Astro. So many cool, interesting ideas that are already being discussed there. I would highly encourage you all to take the time to contribute, in the smallest sense, to laying out the roadmap for what comes next for this amazing project that everybody seems to come to and then immediately love. We don't have this Marmite factor. We are somewhat immune to this. People come to Astro and immediately take to it like a duck to water. And so, following that particular discussions channel, we've even got a vote channel set up in the Discord server. So there's a particular vote channel you could head on in and just vote off the list here, right? Which ones that you would like to see, it's like, give us some feedback, put your vote down and help prioritize a lot of the demand that's coming from the community, use guys directly. So yeah, by all means, do communicate and let us know, guys. And talk about community and community calls and communication. The next one is on Tuesday, the 13th of September, 7 p.m. This is GMT time, guys, so that is local to the Fuzzy Bear, right? So do pop along. It's great to see the 20-30 heads on average that we do get each week wanting to be part of the discussion. It is an open forum, and always I encourage you all to speak up as candidly, reflect your thoughts as much as possible. This space is not for the core team. This space is not for us guys who talk about Astro and deal with Astro on a daily basis. It's more for you guys to actually talk to us and speak to us and tell us what you think, right? And how you feel, right? Now, talk about showcasing. A wee demo that Nate has shown us in the community calls for those who weren't there, right? A wee snapshot to look at the new look of the CLI tool that might be dropping pretty soon. And this thing is pretty. Like, pretty. You see that? You want to see that again? I think we should see that again. Oh, snap. We didn't see that again. Let's see that again. See? It's a lot cleaner. The options are a lot more reduced, so it reduces like the choice complexity that you have when you're starting up a project or a create Astro project. Here it is, yes, dash, quick, off, gone, boom. And then, boom, you're off into space and you're away, right? Now it's the pulse check time. This particular part of the episode, right, where we put our hand on the fingers, or fingers on the pulse of the projects, and in particular starting off by looking at the Astro project and seeing what's been happening over the past week. So yeah, given that the pace, has been coming back on par from, V1, so this is what the core team's been up to after V1. They had the offsite week, they had the DX week, now they had the bug week, right? And so this is where we were pretty much at, right? And and what we're looking at here is a pretty solid pace in terms of the bugs and closing on number of issues that came up. 50 out of 64 PRs were merged. Also, 48 out of 68 issues were closed down this week, which is fantastic. They are looking heavily, the core team is heavily invested now over the next couple of sprints to really get down the number of issues that are outstanding on the GitHub with the Astro repository. So expect this fervent activity to be continuing over the next couple of weeks. In total, 165 commits over 165 commits across the branches in total by 32 authors. All in all, it is a really good week, right? It's solid progress in total. So we finished the week off with the latest version of Astro at version 1.21, right? And what we tend to have now is a minor release coming out each week addressing a lot of the patches sorry, the bug patches and fixes that have gone in by the core team, and rolling that all up into a single minor release. And through this, we've only really got, well, I've combed through a lot of the bugs and the patches and the release logs, and I've got one real standout announcement that I'd like to share with you. And I just want to say that there was a lot of bug patches and releases that went on, and there was very little to write home about, apart from this one. Now, Ben was working on a PR that was to help prevent a very awful experience in terms of, like, I could be completely candid, it wasn't the best experience when you were using the Astro add command to add integrations and adapters to your Astro config file. You would always then have to go about manually restarting the dev server for those changes to take place. It is something that was really much on the cards that Ben really did want to tackle, given a lot of the user feedback that came off the DX week, right? What I really liked about this particular PR is not only does it go into detail about the previous loading and reloading behavior that went into Astro, but how he went about to manage to overcome it. It goes into good detail, and for those who are interested and for the benefit of the brevity of time, I would refrain from providing you a regurgitated version of the information that Ben has given us in this PR, let alone look at the headline, no more server restarts when you change the config. Fantastic, right? This is utterly brilliant, and we've even got a wee demo just to show you. So we've just added Tailwind directly into the configuration file, and did we need to restart the server? No, we didn't. Fantastic, guys, right? That was too quick for you all. I'll replay that, right? Boom, pop in Tailwind, hit it, server refreshed itself automatically, and then we're off to the races. Now, this minor release and the one before it, right, has with all weekly releases, they only are as good as the community that's helped contribute to them as well. They're never all just the core team, right? And it does, for an open source project, Astro really does epitomise it, especially when it comes to the contributions that are made to the project. Like I said, you don't need to directly contribute to the code base, but for those who do, I do like to give them a special shout out. And the first one I like to do is give a big salam and a big good Athys to Mohammed for helping to add a correct, it's a typo, it's a small thing, right? But correct the link to the Alpine JS library within Astro's official Alpine JS integration. That's right, guys, Astro supports Alpine JS. So thank you very much for that, Mo. Really do appreciate that. Next up is a fix that was provided by John Daly. Now, this is a masterclass fix, right? So let me just show you what he did, okay? Now, in this code sample, right, that is presented on the screen here, John basically helped address an importing issue that was a limiting feature in Astro. Now, I really do love this, right? Looking at this code snippet, at the top we have some JSX components with some named exports. Now, in Astro, you would have to load the imports using the French curlies in a defined import manner. After John's particular PR, we can now import as namespace exports of the components. This is really cool. Like I said, something similar we do in X Element, but we dress it up, we call it polymorphism, and it's really good to see this form of syntax behavior coming in the form of multi-imports from named components in the same namespace in Astro, right? That, honestly, thank you, John, for helping to augment this user experience just that tiny bit further for us, my friend. Really do appreciate it. Right, now, talking about augmenting things, right? Alan Chain came over, right, and helped to ensure that there was a couple of problems when it came to using Uno CSS with Astro in dev. sometimes the CSS was not being inlined in the HTML, making some of the styles not being applied. For example, when you were auto-importing, loading new styles or navigation, that was found because the SSR module was not loaded when trying to determine whether or not it was a JS module style, etc. Right? Basically, Alan came in and ensured that the loading that was loading the SSR module, right, and this helped fix the problem, which was fantastic. Because personally speaking, I like Uno CSS and Tailwind CSS, and I really do love the fact that both these things are fully supported in Astro. And this is the official Uno Astro CSS integration that was created for us by Adrian Fu. So thank you very much, guys. Now we're over to Marvin. Now, Marvin made a PR that automatically helps sets up a bridge for those who are using, sorry, let me just define this, right? So Marvin came in and basically made the connection between Astro and Preact and the dev tools, right? And helped bridge that together, especially with the Astro Preact integration. And when you're running Astro dev, right, you'll get the Preact development experience as well, which is fantastic. Everybody loves Preact, and yeah, we've got the full, the developer experience coming in. So, and that is really off the back of Marvin, a community member, coming in to help augment the experience for us. Next up is 2 PRs that was submitted by Alan. Now, Alan is a fantastic developer, highly skilled in his own right. Now, these PRs are really exciting and really amazing, right? The first one helped address an issue where we were creating, within the way that we were creating non-HTML pages in Astro. And that's right, Astro, you could build a full range of TOML files, JSON files, XML files, freaking PHP files if you wanted to, right? On top of your, to be honest, right, you could even run PHP in Astro, but that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, Astro's non-HTML pages is an amazing feature that Tony gave us a while ago, and it's super powerful, right? But there was a wee problem. And what was happening was that when we came to making these non-HTML pages, there was a problem with the buffers where they were constantly encoding in UTF-8 when it was being written to disk during the SSG build, which works for many cases, some streams, but not others, right? But with the main use case being something that wasn't text-based, right? In this particular case, a PNG file or an image file. Now you get a binary stream, which the binary stream that normally comes through gets mangled by this coding when you do, go to buffer the PNGs and put that in, right? It doesn't work as a nutshell, right? By passing through the encoding options as an additional config into the body now, you could pass through a valid buffer encoding to produce a valid PNG or anything else of that complexity. Secretly, Alan uncovered a new superpower for Astro users. You might not see it, you might not get it, but trust me guys, this is super powerful for us, especially when it comes to reading things off the file system and then directly encoding those binary strings, the buffer array directly into the route, so that way it gets processed in the Astro build. It's fantastic. Quality work. Talking about quality work, this is a game changer for those using Astro the image integration, right? Now, what he's done is, in the title, is that he's parallelized the ability, not paralyzed, he's given the ability to transform multiple images in batches at the same time, right? Given this parallelization process. So, currently the process is serially, so it's one after the other. If there was 10 images, it would take 10, and each takes a second to process. It would take about 10 seconds to process the 10 images. And if you were to apply that at scale, you can imagine that is quite a bottleneck, especially for the fast build times, the super fast build times that Astro gives you, right? The only thing that delays that build time then would be the images, right? And this particular PR changes all of that. It makes the images, as it says, it processes images in batches, right? And the batch is based on the number of threads that are available on the CPU of the particular machine. Okay, so it's like, as you can see here, the left being before, the right being after, right? How these assets were done, in synchronize sync. There's a word that I'm trying to say that I can't get it off the tip of my tongue, right? But yeah, it's done, sequentially. That's the word. Hey. And before, if you were to run, what was it? 2, 4. I should have counted the images, right? But before it was 92 seconds to build. Afterwards, right, by batching all these images together in groups, you got a massive reduction in build time. 39 seconds. Alan did say, right, that it wasn't the best, but to be honest, that is significant. That's phenomenal, right? So Alan, thank you very much for your amazing work, my friend. A couple more contributions to go through, right? We're not quite done yet. Usama, right? Helped add some addition. Now we're talking about the image integration, right? We've had a number of PRs given towards the image integration to help make this better for us, right? Which is fantastic to see the community support coming into this, right? So this basically helps add additional features, sharp resize options like fit background and position for the Astro image integration. Next, we had Valentine's PR, which introduces the new option and prop into the actual integration itself. Now, this is an optional prop where you could pass into the get image or get picture and takes an optional background option. Okay, so the new parameters basically accept strings like HTML name colors. So basically, it's like allows you to pre-fill the background before the image gets loaded, right? And you could use that using the HTML name colors, hexadecimal colors, RGB color codes, right? It's quite cool. It really is quite cool. And then lastly, we have Jan Muller's contribution to the image component, where it prevents where image and picture will now throw if the alt prop is missing. So yeah, when it comes to this kind of thing, this was a fantastic little addition, right, that we happily accepted. All this information that has been added, the PRs, all these have been documented as well, and you can find all this information out and keep up to date with all the impressive changes to the ever-evolving Astro image integration on the particular docs page. Because every integration, every official integration has its own corresponding document page that you can find all this information of how to go about using the integration correctly in your project, etc. That information is there, guys. That guidance is there for you, right? And so, from myself and speaking on behalf of the community, thank you very much for your amazing contributions to the project this week, guys. I mean, as you can tell, these were fantastic contributions, each and every single one of them in your own right. So, by all means, hats off to you guys. Thank you very much. Now, jumping over to the pulse section, right? And sorry, keeping our hand on the pulse now we're moving over to the docs repo, and these guys, like, what can we say? They're always busy, frequently, voraciously putting out amazing guidance for us astronauts who are continuously lost in space, right? This week alone, we've seen 69 out of 77 PRs being merged, which was absolutely amazing. 13 out of 17 issues also being closed as well. We had 30 authors participating in making 151 commits across all branches. And I must say, for the first time, if you notice in the bottom of the graph, right, Jan came out level with Sarah for commits made to the repo, guys, right? That is fantastic. I absolutely love the work that Jan does, right? For he has really been working hard and helping to shape up some of the guidance given to the contributors. Now he's got his feet wet, being a maintainer for a wee while. He's got some insight and he's sharing that with you guys as well in Jan's particular way, which I must say is unique. And yeah. First off, do check out the contributor docs, right? For those who are coming into the docs project and wanting to help contribute to the amazing project that it is, right? We welcome contributions of all manners, right? Especially with the docs. Now, this given the size and the scale and the scope and the complexity that the docs project is, if you look at the doc site, it is one of the prettiest doc sites in the ecosystem, in the web dev ecosystem, in my opinion, right? And that is all down to the sheer, will and management of, both Chris, Sarah, and the works that everyone else has done in there as well. Just, I mean, to be honest, there's hundreds of yous, right? But yeah, given the complexity and the amount of people coming in and willing to make contributions, there is guidance set up for you guys. And Jan was applying his expertise when it came to translating the docs to Portuguese, and he helped put this wonderful internationalization guide for us, right? By all means, this is going to grow and evolve, and this is a really encouraging, step in this direction. So fantastic work there, Jan. And then lastly, he's also been working on this amazing maintainers manual, right, for the docs maintainers, especially those new maintainers, hint hint Kevin, right, coming on board. And yeah, there is guidance set up there, and it's not just Jan, it is a collective effort, guys, right? And I just want to give special kudos to our wee Jan, because he's really growing in here, right? He's honestly, keep up the great work, wee man. You're doing so well. Huge news, right, is that the docs, as an open source project, reached 200, the milestone 200 contributors to the project. It is massive now. The face pile on the docs site, when you go on the docs page, there's a face pile at the bottom, and it's huge. And there's always room for one more. And I totally agree with you, Sarah. There's always room for one more, especially in the Astro project, especially in the Astro community, and especially those who just want to be part of it. Space is big enough for everyone. So yeah, the lucky 200, right, went to Papua. I absolutely murdered that pronunciation there, right? I do apologise, bud, right? But yeah, 200th doc contributor, Jan noticing, right? And get the party going, boys. Over the docs project, new maintainer, right? 200th contributor. The docs project, over the course of about 5-6 months now, right? Yeah, it's grown so much in such a short period that it's took on a life of its own. It is probably, if Astro wasn't a stand, by itself, right, and he just took the docs project as a standalone entity and just to look at it, it is one of, is the open source success story of the year, in my opinion. And the year's not over, guys, right? So let's see what it could finish on, right? And the docs team is not fully complete without the taking a look at the amazing teams, right? The astronauts up on board the International Space Station that is up there, translating the docs and for folk to, read around the world for us, right? It is an international endeavour, and I must say, we've transversed 6 languages, and now we've taken on a new language. So we've took on Arabic. My Arabic, I can't speak Arabic, believe it or not. And so yeah, it's like it's there now. This is coming off the back of, it's like this is just a case and point about the docs project. It's now got to a point, guys, right, where we're now able to welcome translations from all over the field. So this is an international call out to anybody who speaks a second language, your mother tongue, right, whose English is your second language and you can translate back to. The docs is in such a great shape now that we don't have to be so restrictive with the forms of, translations that we could provide. We could provide them all, like you've seen, right? Just to go back one screen, This is, providing left to right translations. We've also got the Japanese translation set, which is full columnar. It's like it's the docs is set up now fully to help broadcast Astro into your language, so that way not only would you be able to understand it better, and others, your peers that who also speak your language can also follow along as well and help play with Astro while you're building with it. So yeah, international call out, guys. If you can speak another language and if you know how to write it, for all sure, we could do it. And this is just a snapshot, right, of what was the to-do list, right, of those languages that are needing updated, right, and translated. As you can see, we've got the new Arabic language added to the top of the list there. And yeah, looking around this, man, this is great. But yeah, keep up the great work, everyone in the docs team. Talk about teams. Now, Erica has been hard at it, right, over in the language tools this week, right? Maintaining her particular domain and her garden over there. Now, what you're seeing on screen here, right, is Code Sandbox. Well, sorry, is the full IntelliSense of Astro, right, and the Astro language tools now working on an in-browser experience. And the first one to deliver this for us was Code Sandbox, which is actually amazing, right? So yeah, this is fantastic. And an integrated language support for Astro. And it's amazing to see these, our online providers, for instance, if you go to astro.new, you could spin up any Astro project in any sandbox environment in your browser and get playing with it in a couple of clicks, right? You can open it up in StackBlitz, Code Sandbox, like you see in here from Athys, right? And Code Sandbox, StackBlitz, and GitPod. That's the third gene. Forgive me. I do love GitPod. I use them all the time, and I can't believe their name escaped me, right? But stepping away from the amazing news that Code Sandbox delivered for us, right? We're taking a wee focus on exactly what came out this week from Erica. Now, the VS Code extension is now it's now mature to the ripe age of 24, right? And it has better support for HTML and CSS features, including completions and foldings of things inside web environments such as VS Code Dev and GitHub.dev, right? The extension now allows you to the extension dropped TypeScript, right? So it's not having to ship the massive weight that, the behemoth that is TypeScript. It is shipping it in a lot less, so it's like we get faster startup times. You can actually stipulate which version of TypeScript you want if you wanted to. And one particular thing that I really did like is the last line there that you see is the fixings of the angle bracket characters, these escape characters inside the HTML, inside the front matter, which was preventing, features working inside the template. It was a bit of a nuisance, but honestly, Erica is a star when it comes to these things, right? Yeah, and if you want to give her a wee hand, by all means, help checking over to the language tools, right? And the repo's there for you guys, right? I'm sure Erica would love support because she owns this domain, and not only that, along with the great work that Anthony does on the Prettier plugin, guys, the language tooling for that surrounds Astro. We even got the ESLint slide. I don't know where that slide has gone, forgive me. But we've also got the ESLint package as well for you guys, right, for the full linting experience, right? Now we're over to my favourite haunt of the woods, right, which is the support squad. Now, major announcement for the support squad and the squaddies, right? You actual legends, firstly, right? That's how we describe and address our support squad and our squadron members as legends, right? So legends, please take note that the previous bot that we had was the autothreader bot. That has been given a new overhaul, right, with the needle bot, right? Now, the biggest change is that support squad is not going to get, the legends, we're not going to get pinged on every thread that comes up, right? Like Fred said, and we spoke about this at length, right, and I love the fact that he's managed to get to put this in for us, right? And there's a bit of work that's went to here, and I'm going to go and explain this in a wee second, right? But it's pretty big given, it's like the number of notifications that we got. For instance, the week after Astro launch week, we had over 1,200 new members joining the support, the server. Roughly 1 and 2, 1 and 3 of them were, support related queries. And we had hundreds, right, of threads within the first week. And it was ping-geddon, right? That week was ping-geddon for the squaddies and that sign up, willingly to give some a bit their time and their expertise to help unblock others. It is free, guys. It is a thank you that they do it for. It is pure altruism, and that's why I call them legends, because they're we're a unique group of individuals that just love helping folk, right? So yeah, this way you're not going to get submerged under ping-geddon anymore. And this is Needle, our new friend, our new weapon that we use to help us in our day-to-day, right? And Needle is actually a bot that is created by one of our own users. We know him in the community as Lamoro or Marcus, right? And he helped make this. And so far now he's got 2.5 million users across 2,600 servers, right? I mean, this is absolutely mind-blowing, right? The way that he, the story behind Needle and Marcus is a fantastic individual, guys. He really does care about Astro, like epitomizes the maintainership role to a T. And Marcus, thank you very much for the hard work that you put into Needle, and thank you, Fred, for adopting Needle, and the both of you for putting Needle into. The last week has been a lot quieter and a lot easier for us guys to manage. So what we do, like I said, is like legends. There are still heroes amongst legends, okay? And I want to give a shout out to 3 particular legends. happydev, Bryceguy, and Sean, or everyone knows him as Athys, right? happydev and Bryceguy. happydev is they're all skilled individuals. And these guys, like I said, in and amongst a group of legends, and these 3 have really went over and above the Call of Duty in the past week. The number of threads that they've helped, the number of people that they've all helped unblock, the way that they help communicate and help, alleviate the tension and the stress that the other astronaut is facing is fantastic. Like their mannerisms, their professionalism is to a T, and I cannot fault a single one of these heroes, especially this week. So thank you very much, guys, for the amazing work that you've done this week. Hats off to you, like I said, right? Now, I want to give you an announcement on the Community Showcase. The Community Showcase has been something that has been going every Friday. Everybody's putting something new, something out there, right? And I'm really wanting to take a whole new format, and I've been thinking hard about the new Community Showcase and how I like to deliver that for you guys, right? And so if you bear with me, right, there's an event. The first one is this Friday at 7 PM in the live chat, same place, right, in Discord, and you're all invited to come watch me go about looking at the hard and amazing work that you guys put out building with Astro and the work, and I enjoy it. I really, you guys got to honestly understand, I really enjoy looking at your work, right, all of it. And yeah, so we're going to put a format together and get that out there. There'll be a couple of demos, and yeah, we'll just take a look through the showcase together and see what we all like, right? Now, I want to finish off This Week in Astro with a second call to action, okay? The community has grown and swollen, right? Doubled in size over the past month. And there's a lot of new users who can do with support, and a lot of people who are wanted to get involved, right? So this is what I mean by Astro needing you, because with your involvement, we get better. Astro is 100% community-driven project. It is the open source project that is driven by the community, all right? And in order for you to really get involved, head on over to the Managed Roles channel, right? It's right at the top of the Astro Discord server when you land, right? And you could just jump in. You could pick whichever role that you like. For instance, if you wish to join us in the part of the support squad and be counted as a legend and even be seen as a hero, right? By all means you can do. Just react with the appropriate emojis that you see on screen here, right? And helping to get involved in the support squad is a great way to learn how Astro works. It's also a great way for you to build good, strong bridges with other developers and other astronauts in and around the community. By all means, the support squad is a great way for you to build these relationships and connections, right? We've also got a specialised role for the tooling troop. Now, this troop would call answers to Erica, or Princess Erica, right? And what people do, is like help get involved with improving the overall developer experience surrounding Astro, the linting, the ESLint, the formatting, prettier, is like the overall developer experience in the browser now where we're looking to focus on, because I mean, she's pretty much nailed the VS Code extension single-handedly. Well, not single-handedly, but the vast majority of it on herself, right? And it's amazing. So you could join the particular role by just giving, the hammer and the spanner, right? Or you could join the new purple looking Team Docs. And if you do love the docs, right, do get involved because everybody loves the docs team. And technical writing is a great skill set for you as a developer, especially starting off, right, as a developer in the open source. It is a great way for you to learn how to go about understanding how projects like this get put together. The insight is so rich, it's insane. You really will improve just even if you're new to this entire field. And the docs team is filled with nothing but love, right? And yeah, just hit a wee book, obviously, because they're nothing bunch of bookworms, right? And if you want to be a little space invader, right, and help improve the Astro code base, help fix the bugs, review the PRs, discuss the new features, get in touch with the core team directly, etc., the team dev role is open for you to join as well. Just hit the wee Space Invader icon, right? And not only that, as I said, there was a huge shout out, right? A call to action, right? For those who know a second language, right? And the international alliance, the international team roles, if they're pinged when somebody needs help with the translations or a particular Astro feature that they can only communicate in that particular language, by all means, guys, if your flag's not there, just add it and you'll be able to react to that role at any time, right? If you want to add your flag to that, just get in touch with us, either me, Fuzzy Bear, Chris, or Sarah, Erica, any member in the core team, Jan, Hippo, and the Kevin, the maintainers over in the docs team, right? By all means, get in touch with any one of us and we'll be able to assist you now, because the docs is at a point where we can willingly accommodate your language now, guys. It is so fantastic to say that. And that is it, folks. That is all. I don't believe I fucked up that badly. Right? I hope you enjoyed This Week in Astro. I'm glad to be back to doing it for you again. And as always, I do wish you all have the most fantastic week ahead of you. Whatever you do it with an absolute smile on your face, guys. Right? From me, as always, peace and love, guys. Peace and love, right? Bye-bye.